All right, who wants a shot?
Quick shots.
Dave Kluge coming at you with a Week 10 quick shot. There's a guy who has been getting a lot of attention in recent weeks. Over the last 3 weeks, this guy has seen 28 targets and hauled in 22 receptions for 287 yards. He pulled in 14 of those receptions and 169 of those yards on a primetime Monday night matchup and took the fantasy community by storm. Of course, I'm talking about Patriots wide receiver Jakobi Meyers. However, I'm here to tell you to make sure to pump the brakes before this hype train fully derails. At this point, he's probably already snagged off waivers, but don't panic if somebody outbid you. I repeat, do not panic, and do not trade a viable starter for Jakobi Meyers. This is a situation that I've seen play out a lot in the past, and I think that Jakobi Meyers appears to be fool's gold. Meyers was signed as an undrafted free agent prior to last season, and with Tom Brady tossing him the rock, he pulled in 26 of 41 targets for 359 yards with 0 scores on the year. Now, 13.8 yards per catch is certainly something to get excited about, but when you figure that he was seeing just 2.6 targets per game, that doesn't necessarily make him a defensive focal point, which allowed for some of those chunk plays. As for the start to this year, he didn't really do too much to excite either. Over his first 6 games, he saw exactly 1 target, which he caught for a 7-yard gain. And that's it. N'Keal Harry was knocked out of Week 7's game with a concussion, and that's when Meyers started to take over a little bit. But prior to that injury, Meyers hadn't seen more than 11% of his team snaps or more than 1 target in a single game. Bill Belichick has an unbelievable eye for talent, and if Meyers was relegated to such a small role, there was probably a pretty good reason for it. I suppose there's an argument that could be made that Meyers could supplant N'Keal Harry as the team's number 1 wide receiver. However, at 6'2" and 200 pounds, Meyers is a bit shorter and smaller than Harry, and Cam Newton prefers bigger targets, as we've seen in the past. Also, Cam Newton is throwing for a career-low 202.4 yards per game. Even if there was a bona fide wide receiver 1 on this team, which I want to make clear there isn't, he wouldn't have that much of a ceiling. Harry was seeing a team-high 6 targets per game before his injury and was only able to churn out 5.9 fantasy points per game. I don't see a situation where an undrafted wide receiver can step into that role and triple the production that we saw from Harry, especially this late in the year. If you missed out on Jakobi Meyers' sweepstakes, don't fret. If you splashed some fab and got him, I'd strongly recommend that you wait to see what his usage looks like with a healthy N'Keal Harry on the team before you trot him into your starting lineup. Well, there it is, my Week 10 quick shot.